Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kassandra, and if you have been on your feet all day, this is exactly the right yoga class for you. So this practice is for tired legs, tired feet. If you are sore, stiff, and just feel like your lower body is quite achy in general, this should really be helpful. These are going to be gentle stretches, nothing too strenuous, and should just make you feel a whole lot better if you've been standing a lot today. No props required. This is suitable for all experience levels, and we're going to start lying down on our backs in reclined butterfly pose. So you can just bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Let the knees fall open, and you can bring your arms wherever you'd like, either just resting your palms on your belly or extending your arms up overhead. So this is really going to be a lower body focused practice, getting into our hips, our hamstrings, into the quads, the calves, the ankles. I was on my feet all day yesterday, so I am feeling quite tight and tense. So I thought I would just show you what I tend to do in those times, and maybe it'd be beneficial for you as well. So just take a few more breaths here as you really allow your knees and your thighs to get really heavy. Finding slow, steady breath in and out through your nose. And you can use your hands to help the knees lift all the way back up. With your feet flat on the floor, you can widen them so that they're mat width distance apart, and flex your feet so only the heels are touching, and you're just going to drop the knees and thighs from side to side in a windshield wiper motion. Really trying to get that full range of motion through your hips here. So lowering as much as possible while keeping your shoulder blades grounded. And the next time you have your knees and thighs over to the right, you can pause here. And if you'd like to add on and intensify, you can cross your right ankle over the top of that left knee, just to encourage that left knee and thigh to drop down a little bit more. And you can uncross. We'll do the same thing to the other side. So lift up, both knees and thighs drop over to the left, and then maybe you cross your left ankle over the top of that right knee. Let's release, coming back through to center. Pull your right knee in towards your chest and extend your left leg straight. So here we're really going to roll through our right ankle. So as much as I'm pulling my right thigh in, at the same time, I'm trying to stretch my left leg further out, and just trace some circles with your right foot, flexing and pointing through your toes. You can reverse the direction of those circles. Just starting to check in with the ankle and with the calf muscles. Keep your head and shoulders heavy on the ground. And maybe you'd like to stay here, or you can intensify by coming into half happy baby. Holding on to your big right toe with your two-piece fingers, you can stack your ankle over the top of your knee. I like to use my elbow to push that knee and thigh open a little bit more. So really starting to get into the hamstrings and into the hip. The foot is flexed here. And keep the hold of this happy baby pose, but go ahead and bend your left knee so you can have your foot flat to the floor. And let's find reclined pigeon. So you're going to cross that right ankle over the top of that left knee, creating this figure four shape, and you can reach through with your arms to pull that thigh in towards your chest. I like to rock a little bit side to side in this kind of pose, almost like you're massaging your lower back. Just using a little bit of arm strength. Give that leg one last little squeeze. And just set that left foot back down to the floor. You can straighten your right leg all the way up towards the sky, grab a hold of the back of the leg anywhere that you'd like, and just flex and point. Try to keep your right knee straight if possible. And notice how this really changes the sensation of the stretch when you flex and push through your heel and when you point and reach through your toes. Depending on the kinds of shoes that you wear, this can feel quite intense. And let's release. Straighten your right leg out. Pull your left knee in towards your chest. We'll do that same sequence to the other side. So as I'm drawing my left thigh in, I'm going to roll my left ankle. So tracing circles with the left toes. You can flex and point. Make sure to go in both directions of these circles and keep trying to lengthen and stretch your right leg further out. So creating space from the crown of our head all the way down into our big right toe. And you can continue in this way, or instead you can transition to half happy baby, grabbing a hold of your big left toe with those two-piece fingers and trying as much as possible to find a 90-degree angle so that we're stacking our left ankle over our knee, using that elbow and the arm to encourage our thigh to open up to the side without rolling over to the left. Keep trying to push down into your right hip and right sit bone. Right shoulder stays anchored and grounded. And you can stay in half happy baby, but just go ahead and bend your right knee so the right foot is flat to the floor and transition into your reclined pigeon pose. So guide your left ankle to the top of your right knee and pull the right thigh in towards your belly, either holding on to the back of that right leg or the front of your shin. And you can rock a little side to side here as well. And give your leg one last big squeeze. And carefully set the right foot down flat to the mat. Extend your left leg straight up and then grab a hold of the back of the leg and then just flex and point. So stretching through the hamstrings, but also engaging through the calf muscles, into the ankle. You might feel the stretch at the front of your foot, top of the foot. Bending into the knee. Let's release. We'll come up so you can just rock up and bring your legs back behind you. We'll come into a little kneeling stance. Curl the toes underneath you. So this is like a little toe squat with your thighs and knees hip width distance apart. Tuck those toes under and see if you can start to shift your weight back towards your heels. So depending on the tightness that you feel, maybe you want to keep most of your body weight in your hands and off of the feet and the ankles. Otherwise, if you'd like, you can lift all the way up. We're not going to be here for too long, but I really want you to feel this stretch. This is such a good one to do every single day. I always do this in the evening. And if you are sitting like me, you can shift your weight back, forward, point the toes and just shake it out, tap it out a little here. And this time with your toes pointed back, we're gonna sit back onto our heels. And doing more of an ankle stretch, we're just gonna do one knee at a time. See if you can hold onto your right knee with your right hand. And can you lift the shin off the mat so that you feel a stretch through that right foot into the ankle. You really don't need to go very far in this one. And we'll go do the same thing to the other side. Left hand to your left knee. See if you can lift it up a little bit. Stay lifted and tall through your chest. And release. Let's find our low lunge. So right foot will step to the front and top of the mat, stacking our right knee directly over the top of the ankle. And you can frame that front foot with your hands, maybe just making some fists. And just let gravity melt and pull your hips forward and down a little bit more. So really not trying to use too much effort in this practice. We're trying to relax in the poses, breathing deeply into the stretches. And I'm going to add a twist here if you'd like. You can also flatten your left palm to the mat and reach that right arm up. It's a little bit of a spinal rotation. Still melting those hips down. And let's bring that right hand back down to the mat. So from here, I'm going to straighten my right leg all the way, and I'm coming into head to knee pose. So as I'm lowering, I'm just going to flip so that I bring my left foot to the inside of my right thigh. I'm going to make this a passive forward fold, meaning it's okay if my knee is bent a little bit. And I'm going to just let gravity pull the head down, crawling the hands forward, not pushing, not pulling. There's no need to have a flat back in this variation of the forward fold. Even like soften your belly, your facial muscles, your cheeks. Let the shoulders and the arms be heavy. Just finding that stretch along the back of our right leg. Never forcing it. And very slowly, use your hands pushing into the floor to curl and lift yourself back up. And we'll find a simple twist from here. So you can lift that left knee up and cross your left foot over the top of that right thigh. Push down into your big left toe as you hug the thigh in towards your chest. I'm going to wrap my right arm around my left leg. Left hand goes behind me. Lift and lengthen, so tall, straight spine, and then twist open towards the left as you really hug that thigh in towards your belly. So you'll probably feel this a little bit through your left glute and into your left thigh. I'm keeping my right leg straight. I'm flexing through my right foot. And releasing back through to center. Let's find our butterfly fold. So similar to what we did at the beginning of class, but we're doing it from a seated position this time. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And again, I'm making this a passive forward fold. My palms are facing up towards the sky. I'm letting my back, my spine naturally round. Not pushing, not forcing it. Just finding that deep inner thigh stretch. And stay in the butterfly pose, but come out of the forward fold. So just lift slowly, head and chest back up. And before we go and do this to the second side, just take a moment to kind of massage your feet with your thumbs in any way that feels good. Maybe pulling back on the toes a little bit. Just taking a moment here, maybe working your way up into your calves, into your thighs. And we'll release to find our low lunge to the second side. So coming from hands and knees, you're going to be stepping that left foot forward to the top of the mat, making sure your feet are hip width distance apart. I have my left knee stacked on top of my ankle. I'm going to frame my front foot with both hands. I'm just going to curl and make some fists. so I don't have too much of my body weight going into my wrists. Every time you exhale, can you melt your pelvis forward a little bit more, relaxing any tension from your neck and your shoulders. And you can stay where you are, or you can add a spinal twist. So I'm going to flatten my right hand, palm flat to the mat, reaching the left arm up. And we release. Start to shift your hips back. We're coming into that head to knee hamstring stretch pose. So I'm going to come all the way down, and I'm kind of just swinging that right heel out in front of me so that I can bring my right foot to the inside of my left thigh. Left leg is straight, directly out in front of me. A little bit of a bend is totally fine. Melting into it, letting yourself round. Totally normal if one side feels a bit more open than the other. Try not to judge your range of motion or set any expectation on yourself, especially those days where you have been standing on your feet all day. It's really normal to be a lot tighter than you might usually be. We're just trying to get healthy blood flow going down to the legs and alleviate any soreness from our muscles. Let's walk the hands in, lifting out of the forward fold, coming into a twist so that right knee will lift up. You're going to cross your right foot over that left thigh, really push down into that big right toe. Hug the thigh in as close to your belly as you can. I'm going to use my left arm to anchor and squeeze that into place. Right hand goes behind me for support. Lift and lengthen, stay tall even as you twist over to the right. Keep pushing into your big right toe. Keep dropping your shoulders down and away from your ears and squeezing, hugging that thigh in a little bit closer to the midline. Coming back through to center. So if you'd like, you can do butterfly pose once more like we did. Instead, I'm going to come into a straddle forward fold. So I'm just going to open up my legs, not even that wide. So you don't even need to go to your end range of motion. Just find like maybe a 4 out of 10 on a scale of intensity. So nothing that feels too painful or strenuous. And just let yourself come down into the pose. Slow, steady breaths here. And if the legs and the body in general feels very tight, you might not even be folding forward at all. You might just work on the pose sitting up tall, which is perfectly fine as well. The benefits of the poses are the same no matter how far we get into them. And you can keep your legs as they are, just lift head and chest back up, and maybe give yourself that same little massage if you'd like, checking in to see where there might still be a little bit of stiffness or tightness, just little squeezes. And we'll bend at the knees. Let's find downward facing dog from here. So you can cross at the ankles. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. Feet are hip width distance apart as you tuck the toes under and lift your hips up and back. And we're really focusing here on our legs and our lower body. So bend into your left knee. See if you can keep your right leg straight and push down into your right heel. So really focusing on the right calves, stretching at the back of the knee, really lifting your seat, pushing your chest towards your thighs. And switch sides, so bend your right knee, left leg is straight, push down into that left heel. And finding a neutral downward facing dog, so you might have a little bit of a bend in both knees. Really focus on getting the most out of this pose as you can. And let's release. Bring your knees down to the mat, swing your legs out in front of you and lower all the way down to your back. And you can pull both knees in towards your chest when you get there. And you can widen your knees towards shoulders and armpits. Maybe you stay here or you can come into the full expression of happy baby pose. So grabbing both big toes, trying to stack the ankles over the knees and using your elbows to press those knees open a little more. I'm gonna rock a little bit side to side here. Try to keep your tailbone pressing down into the mat. And let's finish with one last twist that really targets the IT band, another area of the legs that can get neglected and quite tight. So you can release your happy baby pose. Keep your right knee in towards your chest and extend your left leg straight. We're gonna cross that right thigh over our body, over towards the left, and you can reach your right arm out to the side. So this is option one. There's already a good amount of sensation, so feel free to stay here if this is enough. If you'd like to intensify this pose, you're going to straighten your right leg and let it drop down. So really targeting through the hamstrings and the IT band. You can slide your left hand down that leg. 5 deep breaths here. If your right leg was straight, you can bend that right knee and we'll all roll onto our backs so we can find the twist to the other side. So realign your hips if they've shifted, straighten your right leg, pull your left thigh in towards your belly, and you're gonna guide that left leg across over to the right. Reach your left arm out so your shoulder stays anchored, and maybe stay here or you straighten your left leg. And I say straighten, but really a little bit of a bend in that knee is totally fine. Just find your expression of the pose. This is another one I like to do if I've been on my feet a lot during the day. This is especially great for runners as well, who tend to have tight IT bands. If your left leg was straight, bend into that knee, roll onto your back, and let's come to Savasana, our final resting pose. So here you can take up some space with your arms and your legs, closing your eyes. And giving yourself a few minutes of total relaxation. Feeling the effects of this practice. Try to soften and let go a little bit more with every exhale. About 2 more minutes here. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. And go ahead and breathe deeply. Waking ourselves back up with a little bit of movement. Stretch your arms up overhead as if you're just waking up in the morning. And we can roll to one side, coming up to take a seat. Sitting up tall. You can join your hands together at the front of the heart. Take a moment to really notice how your legs and your feet feel now. Hopefully there's a little bit of relief and a feeling of spaciousness. Let's close our practice by chanting Om together one time. We'll inhale to chant, breathe in deeply. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this gentle practice with me. I do hope it did bring some relief to your legs, your hips, your feet, your calves, the entire lower body. I know for me, it certainly feels quite good to do those stretches when I've been standing for long periods of time. Please leave me a comment down below. Please subscribe if you don't already, and hopefully we will meet on the yoga mat again very soon.